It's time for the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Blake Sloan, one of the top real estate agents not only on the Grand Strand, but in the world. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, the Wall Street Journal, NBC, and many other publications. And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. That's exactly what time it is. It's time for the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. We'll be talking to Blake coming up in just mere seconds here, and he's got a lot of great information over the next 30 minutes, so much so that you're probably going to want to get back in touch with him. That's easy to do. Just call him at his office, Sloan Realty Group. Sloan Realty Group. The phone number is 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD, or go online to blakesloan.com. BlakeSloan.com. So let's get the show started. Here is Blake Sloan.
Good morning, everyone. Got an awesome show. It's the 22nd straight week, Corona COVID edition, keeping you all updated what's going on in the real estate market with the COVID-19 crisis, and some big news both in real estate sales, also into interest rates. Some big news we'll talk about today that really has to do with the interest rates. Saw a huge spike this past week. We'll talk about what that was about, what that means going forward as well. We also have huge news in regards to the market. Still been super hot. Tons of people in town buying. Our team over 20 plus properties in the past week under contract that we put. Massive amounts of sales happening here locally. We'll talk about those numbers. This week we'll also dig into the micro market numbers, which is the zip code, right? What's my neighborhood doing? You're seeing some crazy stuff there, double digit growth in certain areas, a lot of areas with massive sales increases, price increases, inventory being super low. And so we'll talk about really what's the hottest areas of the beach right now from a real estate value standpoint, and also where people are buying, right? And so that's something we're really interested in seeing right now, because things are moving so quick. We'll talk about that. And the luxury market, super hot right now too. A lot of high-end properties, a couple over $2 million under contract in last week. We mentioned last week, we'll kind of do a quick recap for anyone that missed the overall numbers for the macro market, which is the entire Grand Strand. One of the single biggest month versus month increases we've seen in price in a very long time, over 20%. The other thing too is, as we've been talking about the previous few weeks, is we're in an inventory crisis right now. There's a huge crisis in inventory, meaning that there isn't hardly any, right? There's a huge deduction, almost 40% decrease in the amount of homes for sale right now versus the same month last year. And so we'll talk about that. Some amazing success stories. Our team has been pushing so hard, getting so much great results during this crazy market. We'll talk about that as well.
Sounds like an amazing show. Okay, here's the thing. If you're just tuning in for the very first time, you don't know who this guy is. He is Blake Sloan. He's been called the real estate whiz kid. He's been featured in Forbes magazine, Wall Street Journal, Realtor magazine, and other national publications. Maybe you've seen him on TV with NBC, or maybe with the morning show on Fox and Friends. You've heard the personal endorsements on this very radio station from Sean Hannity, from Glenn Beck, from Gary LaVox, and Barbara Corcoran. Put them all together is just unprecedented. It's just unheard of in the real estate business. Now, we also hear a little bit week to week, about the trademark systems that Blake has to help both home sellers and home buyers. They are trademarked, so he can't give you all of his industry secrets, but he's more than willing to tell you the most important part of that thing.
Yes, and this, like I mentioned, is my calling. This is the reason we do this show every week. It's by far with the biggest contribution I feel back to the marketplace, and it really comes down to what's the single most important variable that determines your failure or success as a home seller, right? It's true, because it comes down to one thing and one thing only. That thing is the agent you choose, period. And I really had two horror stories this past week we'll talk about a little bit that I heard from other places that came to us after their horror incidents. And so this is, for most people, their largest asset, right? So it matters. And so why does it really break down like that? Why is the single most important variable the actual agent? Well, the reason is, in selling a property, there's 118 different variables from A to Z. If each one's handled correctly, guess what that does? Puts money in your pocket, property gets sold. Anything's handled incorrectly, aka that agent drops the ball, that costs you your hard-earned equity, well, the property does not get sold. And so it could be leaving $10,000, $15,000 on the table. It could be the property sitting there for 6 months. Both of those I've seen happen within the past week. And so you have to have something that manages all those variables, because one single agent can't do that. Maybe back in the 80s and 90s, but with today's marketplace and today's technology, you have to have some systems in place. And so what we did is we identified every single variable. That's how we know there's 118. Most agents are just winging it, right? They do the 3 Ps. One, they promise the world get a listing. Two, they put it to the MLS. And three, they pray someone else brings a buyer. Meanwhile, they're down the street hunting down the next listing. And so that's why you don't see it serviced like it should. It's not they don't want to. It's just there's not enough time in the day for them to do that. And so we create a system that creates maximum leverage at every single point, at point one, at point two, and point three. And what we do is we stack those dominoes. And so what it does, it creates a small gap at point one, a small gap at point two, and over all 118 of those, it creates a massive gap between us and everyone else. And what it does is it gives our client a huge competitive advantage. And that's called the Guaranteed Sold System. I designed it. It's exclusive here to us. I license to other agents, other parts of the country. It works very, very well. It's a proven system, so twice as fast and for up to 200% more money than traditional methods. And it works very, very, very well. But the thing is, you don't want to have somebody who's not managing those variables. Like this past week, I had an example. Someone didn't have the for sale sign in the client's front yard for 4 months. 4 months it took to get a for sale sign in the front yard. All these things, they didn't call the person back, right? It could be anything from the agent answering the telephone. It could be the quality of the photos, the order of the photos. And so we see this over and over and over, these small variables that don't get handled that cost you. Now, you may be okay with 1 or 2 of those, but you stack 3 or 4 or 5 of those that don't get done correctly. That's how you lose massive equity. It's also how your property may not sell. And so on the flip side of that equation, there's the same process we have for buyers. One of our success stories this week is someone who was a buyer who listens to this radio show, who had worked with an agent previous and lost out in 3 different homes, were very, very frustrated. They came to us. We helped them out and got them exactly what they wanted through a proven system that we have. And so that system is called the Unfair Advantage Home Buying System. Gives property access to foreclosures, distress sales, desperate sellers, the absolute best negotiation, both in the purchase price and also through the home inspection all the way to the closing table. But both of those things are designed to do one thing only. They give you a competitive advantage. And you as a consumer definitely want to have something like that when you're looking at what for most people is their largest asset. And so I share that every week because, again, that's 3 or 4 horror stories just this week, some of which people listen to this show. And so I want to make sure we share that because it's so, so important. Everyone makes this huge mistake of thinking that all real estate agents are the same. They're a commodity. It could not be further from the truth. So we'll talk more of that a little bit in the show.
All right, sounds good. We got a lot of show to get to, so stick around. So we got coming up in just a minute. We've got all sorts of great things coming up, including, as you heard, the micro market. We'll just break that down a little bit and see what's happening in the area. And also the rates. What are the mortgage rates looking like? Well, as Blake said, there's big news as far as the rates are concerned, so that's all coming your way in just a second, too. If you have any questions about anything as far as real estate is concerned, call Blake in his office at Sloan Realty Group. Sloan Realty Group, the phone number 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD. Hey, if you are in the market to make the most money for your home, Sean Hannity here with some important advice. Now, look, I'm an active investor. I have bought and sold a lot of properties in hot, cold, moderate markets. And one of the lessons I have learned is this. Hire the agent that knows how to create the most demand for your home. Now, if I needed to create demand in this market, no question, there's only one real estate agent I trust if I needed to sell my home. I'm talking about Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. Now, he services the entire Myrtle Beach area, attracts hundreds of buyers every week, and sells a home on average every 24 hours. Now, that helps you generate multiple offers and sell your home for the most money possible. Plus, it's like getting an immediate offer on your home because if your home doesn't sell for the price of the deadline you agree to, you will have it bought for cash, and he offers flexible fees. Find out how much demand your home can command right now. Call the agent that creates the most demand. Call Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or online at blakesloan.com. That's blakesloan.com.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corcoran. To sell your home on time for the most money, you need a sharp agent with a marketing strategy that creates the most demand. Bottom line, you need a partner willing to put their own money on the line for you. In Myrtle Beach, I would hire Blake Sloan. His international marketing creates so much demand that if your home doesn't sell at a price of deadline you agree to, Blake will buy it. Partner with an agent I trust. Go online or call and get your home sold.
It's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. We'll have a look at the mortgage rates where they are right now, this very second. First of all, we'll see what's going on as far as the Myrtle Beach area market is concerned. I know you've broken it down for everyone, Blake.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, the market's absolutely insane. I was looking at some of the real-time data we have here, just for the overall, what's the overall macro market doing? What's the whole Grand Strand doing? We just hit a record, actually. I was just looking for single-family resales. What the sales do, I'll cover that first. We'll jump into like what's my zip code doing. Is single-family resales were up 24.1% last month alone, which is huge. And so I started looking back. There's a really long line graph. It goes back 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, and then max, it goes all the way to January 2003. There's not one single time going back to 2003 we had 700 single-family resale deals in one single month. And so last year, about the same time, was 560. So you can see a massive, massive difference. So the single highest month record of resale homes ever closed was last month alone. And so that just goes to show you what's happening right now during this, and kind of we're seeing a huge perfect storm of a lot of pain up north, people leaving the metropolitan cities from COVID fear, from unrest. We're getting all kind of reasons. People that are angry at their government, their governor. We've seen it all, but there's a massive movement. You can almost call it a migration from some of these metropolitan cities to suburbs, and also to places like Myrtle Beach, where there's a much better cost of living. People are living more, able to work remotely, and we have an all-time low of interest rates up until last week. And so that's what you're seeing drive this right now. And it's been impressive to watch. And so single-family resale homes, the largest single-month record that we have here all the way back to 2003 was 700 sales exactly, 24% increase in the same month last year. Into prices, prices have been doing great. Average sale price last month alone was up 22.4%, $339,217 with the average sale price. To look back at December 2019, right, the turn of the year, it was 276. Now we're all the way up to 339. A massive amount of equity added for a lot of people that really may have thought they were underwater. We've had a lot of sellers that we've actually been reaching back out to that we talked to a year ago, 2 years ago, and it's blown their mind in how much they thought they could get. And so that's something that's very, very powerful to look at as well. I think I told y'all a story last week. The lady who was from West Virginia, who's actually in town right now, meet with her today, but we listed her property. She wanted 170, and we actually told her you can get 199 for it. And she was blown away, and that's easily going to be able to be done. And so don't cost yourself, make sure you have the right data. That's why this stuff's so important. Now, what's also driving that has to do with inventory. We're at the lowest it's been, and over, I think I looked at February 2007. So over 13 years, we've had this, never, it's been this low. And I think we've been building a lot of houses in the past 13 years too. And so right now it's 3.3 months of inventory, down 38.9% from the same month last year. So look at what's happening right now from an equity standpoint. It's a perfect storm for sellers in a way. You have inventory down, right, 38.9%. You have sales up over 20%. The number one, thing that drives pressure on is price. And so that's why you're seeing price jump up significantly. You want to take advantage of that as a home seller for sure. But that's kind of the one thing we're seeing overall. Also looking at how much buyer traffic's out there. Buyer traffic last month was up 31.9%. So we're going to see a very, very strong month coming into August numbers. Once they come out, we'll probably see that taper off a little bit into this fall and winter. I'll talk about that in a second. But overall, market is super hot. I need inventory. Anybody think about selling, we need it. We're selling stuff within hours. And so we have massive buyers from all over the country. We'll talk about that here in a second. Quick breakdown. I'll run through the micro market numbers. This is the questions I get the most, is like, what's my zip code doing? What's my area doing? Bear with me. I'm going to fly through each one really quick so you can see what's happening in your neighborhood. So Myrtle Beach right now, 29572 at 29577. Sales last month alone up 27.5%. Which is awesome. Median price up 2.5% at $335,000, which is awesome. Days on market, 157 days for those that sell. The amount of inventory that's in Myrtle Beach is down 25.7%. So you see that same thing happening there as well. Into condos, condo sales up 15.2% last month in Myrtle Beach. Median sales price up 1.5% at $137,000. The one thing there, inventory of condos actually up a little bit in Myrtle Beach, 8.9%. So Myrtle Beach is doing very, very well. That's usually kind of a lead indicator of what's happening, the overall Grand Strand. North Myrtle Beach is doing amazing too. North Myrtle Beach up 22.7% last month alone versus the same month last year. Median sales price up 15.8%. One of the first times I've seen it right now. Median price in North Myrtle Beach is over 400,000. So median price right now $414,900. So North Myrtle Beach, massive equity gains there. That's a great opportunity for anyone that's thinking about selling there overall. And what's driving that huge jump in price? Inventory. Inventory for sale in North Myrtle Beach is down 32.4%. Last year, there were 330 homes available. Right now, 223 homes available. And so that's something to think about. Into condos there. Condo sales last month up 27.7%. Prices up 11.9% to 225. And inventory for condos down 23.7%. So North Myrtle Beach is one of those that's super hot right now. A lot of buyers are coming, like the feel of it, and the inventory is very tight. We just sold a huge $800,000 one that just closed this past week. Another agent had it previously, could not get it sold, and we brought the buyer to the table, cash deal. So that's an example of people buying high in there as well. Little River, sales in Little River up 35.3% last month. I guess you're probably seeing a trend here, right? Double digits you're seeing, which is awesome. Median price was pretty flat. It was 268 down to 262. And the one thing that you're seeing here, days on market took a little bit longer, 164 days on market overall. Not many condos up there. Loris, closed sales actually down 16.9% from 59 to 49. Price is still up though. They're up 9.5% year to date at 189,430,000. That's what 189,439. Inventory down 7.1% in Loris and Longs as well. We have some great properties out there. We just got under contract recently as well. So Surfside Beach, closed sales of 11.9% last month alone, 19.9% increase year to date. Prices up 9.8% in Surfside, up from 245 to 270 right now. So great prices there. A lot of extra equity home sellers are finding. Inventory down 23% in Surfside, a lot less homes for sale overall. Into Carolina Forest, check this out, huge jump. One of the hottest areas in the beach right now is Carolina Forest. Their sales last month increased 62.3%. That's a record. I've never seen that since we've been doing this show for 10 years now. It went from 77 sales to 125 sales closed. Prices increased 5.6% last month for median price. If you looked at average, which I don't have that data right here, average is going to be significantly higher. When you see a super hot market like this, average is usually moving quicker than median, which is great there. Inventory down 20.6% in Carolina Forest. We definitely need inventory there big time. If you know anyone in that area, let them know you probably have a heck of a lot more equity than you think you do. In the Sockasty, sales up 12%. Prices up 6.9%, 229,900. Inventory in Soxy down 16.8%. So you guys are seeing the trend here, right? Inventory way down, sales way up. The lagging indicator is always sales price, right? That pressure drives up the price, usually a month or two behind that. And we're seeing that same exact thing here, driven by the inventory crisis we're seeing right now. Conway, sales last month up 26.5%. Which is great. Median price up 3.4% at 185,000. Even, and the same story you're seeing here as well. Inventory is down 35.4%. What's happening is people are just coming in and they're buying up everything pretty much on the market there. Aner, they went from 5 sales to 12 sales. Technically a 140% increase, but obviously it's just not a whole lot of data there as well. Prices down a little bit from 259 to 247. That's just because there's just limited data and different types of properties. Some have acreage, some don't have acreage. So that's something you want to look at property to property. Into Pawleys and Litchfield, sales up 56%. Huge number jump there. Prices up 15.6% from 320 to 370. And inventory also down 19.9% in Pawleys Island and Litchfield area. And even Georgetown. Georgetown's crushing it. Up 47.8% last month in sales. Prices up. One of the biggest jumps I've ever seen in prices. For median price, jumped up 42%. Why is that? Inventory's been drying up, right? They're just not homes that's for sale. Buyers are coming from out of area and they're paying a tremendous amount because they see a value in what we have. What you see a trend happen is up north, people sell an average sale price $500,000-$600,000 with very high taxes. They come here, see an average sale price of $200,000 or $300,000. And Georgetown, for example, 206, and that's a steal for them. And so we're seeing that happen across the board. Inventory down 26.3% in Georgetown, and so the overall pattern there, I'm sure you can guess it. Sales are up like crazy, as much as 40% there. Prices are up as much as 40%. Usually you're seeing around 20% there. And inventory is down, some of the lowest numbers we've ever seen. So we need homes to sell. If you see somebody you know, like I said, you like them, don't like them, friend, relative, coworker, and they're thinking about selling, have them call us first. 843-808-SOLD. My number one challenge right now is finding properties to sell because we have so many buyers right now. That's pretty much all I have on the home side. Real quick, I'll get to something, though, that does concern me right now. That's interest rates. Some big-time news this past week in interest rates. And so we saw a significant jump. If you look at last week's show, it was 2.81%, all-time low we were looking at. This week, it's up to 3.08% already. And so we've seen a jump in some different, if you want to call it formulas. Different sites have different ways they do their mortgage rates. I'll use the one called Mortgage News Daily. It's for industry, basically people in the mortgage industry. It's very, very reliable, but up significantly from 2.81 to 3.08. Seen a lot of clients where their rate rose about a 0.5 percent, half percent, right? So right now that's been a challenge. There's an article right here, and I'll give you the title. It says mortgage rates pummeled by regulatory drama, and so there is something driving that. Long story short, last week, Fannie and Freddie Mac, they announced that they were adding, basically doubling their fees for loans. And just kind of give you the summary of the article, is basically these banks and lenders did not budget for that. And obviously there's going to be some shock there. And so as the expense goes up, guess what happens to rates? They're going to raise rates and what they're willing to loan there from the loan packages they're doing. And so it talks about how a lot of the people who already locked in are at a huge advantage because the bank's going to have to eat that. And also, the new ones, the consumer's going to have to. Now, there is some where the fees that were double were for refinances, but it's affected rates overall. And so nothing really, they're still at all-time lows, right? Never would anybody balk at 3.08% in the past. But that's one thing I do think we may see soften a little bit if we do see it continue to rise up. If you're a home seller, take advantage now when we're scraping the bottom of all-time lows. If you're thinking about buying, take advantage now while we scrape the bottom of all-time lows. And so the last thing you want to do is be sitting there and missing out and wait till it goes up. Or if you're a home seller, don't wait until things cool off and people quit buying. Right now it's in that summer frenzy. People are coming down, they're wanting to travel, they're wanting to get down. In the fall and the winter is when people settle in and they don't make as much moves, both vacation-wise as well as buying. And so if you're thinking about making that move, reach out now, learn more, and we'll help advise you in the right way to go for sure.
All right, sounds good. Tell you what, we got a lot of stuff still to go here. Coming up in just a minute, your Hot Buyers Alert, and we'll find out how many people are out there online right now looking for your home in the Myrtle Beach area. There's lots of them. We'll tell you all that coming up in just a second. Have any other questions? Call Blake today at 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD at Sloan Realty Group. Hey, Myrtle Beach, it's Gary LaBox, lead singer of Rascal Flatts.
Where are we at in time?
When I Moving On won the award for ACM Song of the Year, it struck a chord with folks who understand the challenge.
About 5 minutes.
Okay, cool. We'll do the hot bars of success stories.
Okay. So, if you're moving on, you want a real estate agent who will make selling your home easy and stress-free. An agent who's going to let you out of the contract if you're not happy with their service. That's why at Myrtle Beach, I can tell you that Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group markets your home on a whole different level. Now listen, Blake is so confident in his ability to sell your home quickly and for more money that he guarantees to sell it or he'll buy it himself. If you're moving on, trust Blake to provide your family a stress-free home sale experience. Find Blake Sloan online at blakesloan.com or you can call him at 843-808-SOLD. Start hacking.
It's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Blake and his team working with a huge amount of home buyers looking for homes in the Myrtle Beach area, anywhere in the range from $150,000 to $3.5 million. As he said, he needs inventory. If you're even thinking about selling, call Blake today at 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD. How many people are looking for homes in the Myrtle Beach area? Tons and tons. Active home buyers right now on Blake's website, 58,209, if you want to get real exact. That's how many people are actively looking for homes right now.
Yes, these are real buyers from all over the country. Like Dave mentioned, we need inventory bad. These are real buyers with a username, password, account. When people see those numbers or hear the numbers, they think that's like hits. No, these are real, actual people that I have in my website that are searching our site daily. Right now, Patty Busser from Sumter, South Carolina, she's been on the site 33 times, and she lists 63 properties right now. Her median price is $286,000. So Elaine Granger from Henderson, Nevada, she's on the site. I got Carl from Hinesburg, Vermont on the site, and he looked at 439 properties. He's got 48 favorites right now. So these are real people. And again, like, that's why I need inventory. The difference what we do is I spend the mass amount of money up front, and that's what helps our sellers out, because rather if you call me or not, we're spending a lot of money on buyers. And if you remember 22 shows ago when this whole thing started, 22 weeks ago, I said, look, here's the deal. I'm not pulling my foot off the pedal. We're doubling down, and we're to continue massive spends online. And my business model gives me a huge advantage where we outspend the average agent 100 to 1 from a marketing standpoint. That helps sellers because it gets more exposure and we have more buyers, right? We have a huge team of people that help serve them and give them the highest service, but that's why our property is able to sell faster and for more money, because there's actually buyers that we already have. But right now, my biggest problem is we kept the foot on the table, on the pedal, and inventory's dropped to almost all-time lows. We need inventory to sell. And so if you know someone thinking about selling, like I said earlier, coworker, friend, relative, if you've been listening for a while, reach out and call me. Call me first, right? Don't be the horror story there. 843-808-SOLD, and we definitely get that thing sold for much more. My conversations past 2 weeks have been great, where we're getting clients a lot more than they think they can, and we're actually getting it. So great news there. I know we got, 2 minutes left? All right, so really cool success stories. I got a couple here I want to share. Ginger, and actually this is one personally, a client I met with this week. She had a very, very nice investment property listed in Myrtle Beach with a previous agent over 6 months, who made all kind of promises, only delivered basically frustration and uncertainty. She was here in town when she met with us. She lives in Florida, though, for the past 6 months. So her biggest challenge was she didn't get any updates. She's the one that had to call the agent. And when she did call, the agent didn't know anything about the property. And so long story short, an amazing radio listener who listens to the show referred her to us. We met with her, basically identified the problem, which is marketing. I designed a custom marketing plan. We listed it at the same exact price the other agent had it at. So everybody thinks like, oh, usually it's right there, at the exact same price. And so we did that, launched Globe Marketing Blitz, professional photos, virtual reality walkthrough tour, had it under contract in 1 day, 24 hours. And so that's an example there. We have a team that's supporting her. She has a great experience. We have communication. So that's the difference there of the using the wrong agent and having someone who doesn't have the system that manages that. And a really cool one who's a radio listener, Brandon, first-time home buyer, who just closed on his home this week. Him and his dad came to us after a previous agent caused them to miss out on 3 different homes. There was no process, no true advisement there. They missed out on 3 different dream homes. Thankfully, listened to the show, decided to call us. We came in, had him under contract in 4 days after we first met. Now he's officially a homeowner. And that goes back, like, don't be the horror story. Don't miss out on 3 homes before you call me. Like, call me today. It makes a difference in who you use. The average agent sells less than 4 homes a year. And back to another horror story, someone who called me this week, had it listed, didn't sell in 6 months. The agent didn't even put the for sale sign out for 4 months. They had the seller disclosure filled out wrong, where every question was that the house had problems. Meanwhile, turned buyers off. They didn't even read the seller disclosure. And so there's all these variables that happen. You got to make sure you're protected. So don't be the horror story. Call me first, because it could be bad. You can cost yourself $15,000, $20,000 and you don't even know it for sure.
Yeah, be a success story. Don't be a horror
Yes.
story. You should probably put that on a bumper sticker or something like that. That's what you can be, a success story. If you got Sloan, Blake Sloan working with you in Sloan Realty Group. Give them a call today at 843-808-SOLD, 843-808-SOLD, or go online to blakesloan.com, blakesloan.com to get all the information you need to get your home sold today. Blake, thanks a lot. We'll see you again next
Thank
week.
you. I'll be here.
All right, sounds good. It's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Selling your home doesn't have to be filled with drama or having to pay hidden fees. And your friend Sean Hannity here to tell you, as an active investor, I firmly believe in working with the smartest local agents who sell homes in high volume. Prepare your home to create the most demand, but it does go on the market to sell for the highest price. And don't fill your life with drama while you wait for your home to sell. When I want to know what's happening, there's only one. I'm talking about Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. Now, every single day on average, he sells multiple homes and attracts new homes, which